Bidondi, TruthRadioShow.com, and a fan of ours reached out to us and suggested that I watch a movie. It took me a while, but I finally got to it. I had to watch it twice. The first time I had to shut it off for a few minutes, and wow, I mean, because all the stuff that we know, the United Nations is trying to do, and we're going to show you a clip of that movie here, and just makes your blood boil. And yes, it's just a movie, but however, we know the elite love nothing more to rub their agendas in movies. It was filmed in October of 2016, released in October, and it's called The Dinner. And coincidentally, it was filmed in Austin, Texas, being a United Nations model setting. Well, anyway, they were rubbing and shoving their Agenda 21 crap down our throats. In the movie, they grades 1 through 12. What they do is they give an aptitude test to the children and the students, and the smallest percentage of them get executed. And like I said in the movie, the United Nations made it a law that every year all nations have to give up 5% of the population, kill them off. And to do that, they come up with a aptitude test for children 1 through 12, and the lowest grades, in the score, the lowest test in the score, they get executed. And it was very scary. And the thing is, we know movies basically fiction most of the time, but based off a lot of truth. And yes, people say, oh, it's just a fiction movie. Well, if that fiction movie has a lot of reality to it, because they were talking about the one-child policy that China has. They're killing people with the China execution vans. That's right on record. And, conditioning the children, and I'm going to show you a clip of the movie, actually. They were conditioning the children that the polar caps are melting, there's not enough room on the planet for everybody, and we're overpopulated, and the global warming and all that crap, and it's so disgusting. And I mean, again, I had to watch it twice because I wanted to kill something, man. And it made me that angry, because we know the stuff's going on. We know the United Nations is really pushing us, and we have people like Bill and Melinda Gates, Warren Buffett, George Soros, and all these other billionaire eugenicists pushing billions of dollars. They spend billions of dollars to come up with new ways to depopulate us, to come up with new ways to kill off the percentage of the planet, as the United Nations openly admits it. And you got the 10 Commandments in the New World Order, the Georgia Guidestones. Right in the first one is to depopulate the planet to 500 million people from 7 billion people we have today. But the movie is the UN's agenda rubbed right in your face, calling for world depopulation. And Bill Gates, and if you all remember Bill Gates, the thing is, these people win Nobel Peace Prizes. They kill people and win Nobel Peace Prizes. And you have Bill Gates in 2010, remember the TED conference meeting? That he come up with this stupid formula to say this is how we could solve global warming. And this is how we could reduce the population. And we got to come up with new vaccines to depopulate the planet. Openly admit it, and Bill and Melinda. And this is how we could reduce the population. And we got to come up with new vaccines to depopulate the planet. Openly admit it, and Bill and Melinda Gates, as you all know, he's the leading donator of vaccinations to third world countries and everybody else. So they want to openly depopulate the planet. That's what they're calling for. The United Nations is calling for. I mean, if you read John P. Holdren's book, Ecoscience, John P. Holdren was Obama's science czar. And it's called Ecoscience by John P. Holdren. I mean, you read all the globalist agendas. Go to the United Nations website, read their Agenda 21 program. Where depopulation. I mean, they go far as to say, hey, you know what? We need to converge everybody into small, compact cities. You can't live on a coastline. I mean, if you look at the UN's diversity maps and everything else, I mean, it's sick what they want to do to you. And people say, oh, you can call me conspiracy theorist all you want. It's all on record. And the other one is a conspiracy theorist because you're a moron for not listening to stuff and believing it. And sure, we don't have a dinner right now. And yeah, well, actually, we do, because they're killing us off with the eugenics, with the fluoridation in the water, the mass vaccinations, which ain't, again, people are not buying no more. Most people now are fighting back. Here in Rhode Island, we're having big victories, waking up parents all over the place to fight back against the vaccinations. I suffered a heavy cost for that. I mean, you have the Department of Health, the governor's office attacking me on all fronts, my job and everything else, because we stopped the mandatory vaccinations. But we're having huge victories here because Bill Gates was giving lots of money, millions of dollars here in Rhode Island to push vaccinations. But we put a stop to that. And we got people woken up about it all over the place. You put forums out. Is vaccine safe? You got to have most people saying no, they're not. And most people are aware. But this is what the United Nations is doing. They're going to all fronts to try to depopulate the planet, to say, oh, vaccines are good. Bill Gates, vaccines are good. You should get your vaccines. But admits on the 2010 TED conference meeting that for world depopulation, we need newer vaccines to depopulate the planet. And as he quoted, I mean, you can go watch it for yourself. And you got the Soros, the Clinton Foundation too. I mean, these people spend billions of dollars on depopulating the planet. And if you don't believe me, folks, go look at the records. They speak for themselves. They brag about how they put all this money in, quote, humanitarian aid to depopulate the planet. And I mean, I could be here for hours talking to you about this. I don't want to spend too much of your time. I want to show you that clip in the movie here. But again, it's people like Bill and Melinda Gates, the Clinton Foundation, Warren Buffett. I forgot to mention, I'm sorry. But Warren Buffett alone, okay, spends over $1 billion in eugenics a year. $1 billion he pushes into the eugenics movement there to depopulate the planet. And folks, this ain't a joke, okay? Again, you got Warren Buffett, you got Bill and Melinda Gates, you got Bill and Hillary Clinton, George Soros. These people are the scum of the earth, okay? These people need to be extinguished. But you know what? They're out there winning Nobel Peace Prizes. People like Bill Gates, these people win big Nobel Peace Prizes as the great humanitarians. And meanwhile, they're killing people, millions of people. But yeah, let's give them a peace prize. It's disgusting. It really is. And even Al Gore, I mean, he's another one. I mean, like, they give him a Nobel Peace Prize for pushing the fraud called global warming. Then it's climate change. Global warming, climate change. They can't make up their mind. And it's all a hoax, folks. And make sure you tell your kids out there, no, polar bears ain't drowning in polar caps. It's a fraud, okay? The polar caps ain't melting. They're actually 40% larger than they ever were in recorded history. That's a fact. I mean, these global alarmists there set out ships years ago in 2010, I think it was, or 12, to prove that global warming was melting the caps, and they got stuck in the very ice that they said that wouldn't exist. And remember Al Gore? He said by 2014, it's indefinite, 2014 there will be no polar caps left. And here we are, 2017, we have 40% more ice, at least 40% more ice, than we ever did in recorded history. So we're actually in a global cooling. And now when we show facts about how the planet's actually cooling down, they switch the global warming to climate change. And it's so mentally disturbed what these people do. And, just to say that global warming, climate change is real, it's like saying you can stick a turkey in the oven for 500 degrees for 5 hours and it's going to come out as a block of ice. That's more believable than what they push as global warming. And global warming, climate change is not science, folks. It takes thousands of years for climate change. Thousands. But anyway, I don't want to spend too much time. I just wanted to get this out here. And again, I urge everybody, it's on our YouTube Red, or if you got those Amazon sticks, Fire Sticks or whatever, you could get it if you get it hacked or whatever. But it's called The Dinning. And again, they want to reduce the population 5% a year. They give the kids aptitude tests, and they put all the kids in the school. They take the test with tablets, and the kids that get the lowest scores, the school's on lockdown and away from their parents and everything else. And right away they get picked right from the class by the United Nations peacekeeping stormtroopers there and executed. It's in the movie, and that's exactly what they want to push, folks. Okay, this movie, again, it's called The Thinning, and you need to see this. And it's going to make your blood curl, because everything in that movie is 100% dead on accurate of what the United Nations wants to do. Everything. Sure, we're not having the thing right now, in that, in the schools, whatever. But, that's what they're trying to do, folks. You really need to watch this movie. Watch it a couple times because there's going to be stuff you miss because at first you're so aggravated. You just want to punch something. So, that being said, watch the movie, folks. I'm going to show you a clip as we leave. So, this is Dan Bidondi. Stay tuned for this clip here, and it's going to make your blood boil. So, remember, we've got to stop fighting against the United Nations. Even though we have Trump as president right now, but the UN, they're trying to do everything in their power to convince even people like Donald Trump and everybody else that this agenda of depopulation, and folks, if you want to check this out, in colleges, they have depopulation courses. In the military, they have depopulation. They have courses on how to depopulate the planet. This is real stuff, folks, and this is a very big threat. And just because Donald Trump won, which was awesome, don't let your guard down. Don't fall asleep at the wheel now because Donald Trump won, because the United Nations is still a huge threat. Anyway, Dan Bidondi, 4TruthRadioShow.com. Stay tuned for the clip. God bless.
Now, before we begin, I'm going to show you a really special video before you take your first test, okay?
This is planet Earth, our home. See how happy she is. Well, she wasn't always so happy. You see, not so long ago, the Earth wasn't feeling so well. First, she got too hot. Then, the ocean started to rise, leaving less room on the land for Earth's friends. And with less land, and more people, there was just not enough room for everybody. Luckily, boys and girls from all over the world got together and came up with some very cool ways to eliminate 5% of their population annually. Some places say goodbye to their oldest. Others only let mommies and daddies have one baby. In America, what if only the smartest boys and girls got to live here? That way, there's enough to go around. And America could be the best country again. Isn't that neat? Now all kids from 1st grade till 12th grade get to take the 10-2-4-1 test to help planet Earth feel great.